I think it's been about a month now since I did a double unboxing of the Coach Tabby Quilted 20 and the 26, and in that video I mentioned that I wasn't really sure about the denim because I unboxed it and it didn't really meet my expectations. So I wanted to give you guys an update of what has happened since then, and I sent it back, guys. I had to send it back. I did go back and forth because I mentioned in the original unboxing video that actually between the two bags, I thought the denim bag was just going to be a bit of me. I thought I was going to love that bag, and if I was going to go back and forth about either of the two bags, it would be the leather one, because I've always wanted a Chanel flat bag. I don't have one, and I felt as though if I know that the Coach quilted bag kind of gives me that vibe, at least. It kind of whispers Chanel quilted classic flap, right? And I kind of felt like I didn't want to do it by halves. If I was going to end up with a small Chanel classic flat bag, then that is just what I wanted. I didn't want a alternative version of that bag. If I was going to buy that bag, I just wanted to buy that bag and let that be that. So that was part of the reason why I thought maybe I'll love the bag, maybe I might not love the bag. I was less certain about the leather than I was the denim because I haven't really seen many other bags that have that similar kind of feel for me. I do have a Quilting denim bag, you know, shaped like this, and it's got Quilting. Mine's got Quilting up the side, a mini denim bag, and I use it sometimes. I actually don't use it super that much, but it is there, and I do really enjoy it. But at the time I bought this Coach denim bag, I hadn't seen a similar bag that had the same kind of vibe in denim. And if you watch that video, I also mentioned that I was considering, and still am considering, although stay tuned, because I have ordered myself something vintage from Louis Vuitton that I'm very excited to see. But I was considering picking up a vintage denim Louis Vuitton bag. But even that bag that I'm still considering picking up doesn't have the same kind of vibe that the Coach bag has. That made that bag stand out for me, and I thought that it would add a different dimension to the bags that I already have. But I wanted to give you guys a few things to consider if you are thinking of picking up this bag. The first thing is that the denim isn't structured, guys. So if you are anticipating picking up a bag that has lots of structure, a firm bag, a bag that holds its shape, then this bag is not it. I think I can say that fairly confidently. This bag is very soft and moves a lot. I anticipated the bag being quite a thick denim. I don't know how to explain. You know, like a pair of non-stretch Levi's, maybe. That kind of structure, maybe even a bit thicker than that, because you know it's a bag. So I thought maybe they might fold the denim or something to make it a bit thicker and then add a bit of stuffing in. I'm not a bag maker, so I'm not 100% sure of what the process would be, but I imagined it would be something like that. If you think of the kind of denim that they use on kids' clothes, which is a really weird reference, but I've got kids, so that's the first one that's come to my mind. Boys denim for like a 3-year-old, the kind of denim that they use on those kind of trousers is more kind of that kind of denim. So it is denim, but it's not super thick, it's not super firm, it's not structured in any way at all. It's actually very soft. Softer than the leather, which I guess you might expect. I also found with mine that the flap was not aligned to the base of the bag, which is what I noticed when I first unboxed the bag. This I noticed about the bag with the bag stuffed and without me having used the bag. It was struggling to hold its structure while stuffed and unused, and so I can only imagine that would have gotten worse over time, only because the bag is going to soften over time, right? I guess the firmest it's going to be is as soon as it's made and without it being used. I hope you guys are following me. I noticed immediately that my bag was not, the top flap of my bag was not aligned with the bottom. Initially, I don't know that it was a problem for me. I was just kind of looking at the bag and I noticed it, kind of moved on and was looking at the other parts of the bag. And the more I looked at the bag, the more I took the stuffing out of the bag and kind of looked at the bag, I realized that all of the cons about the bag, this particular one was one that I didn't really think I could live with. If you're hoping for a bag that's very well aligned and kind of stands on its own, holds its own structure. I personally think you'd be better off going with the leather. Another con that I found about this bag is that I expected there to be a bit more weight in the strap. It might be a me problem. Maybe my expectation for this bag was a bit higher than it should have been. I know that it's not like a super expensive bag, although I personally would consider Coach to be luxury or contemporary luxury. I don't even know if that's a category, but you know, mid-higher range category. It's not a cheap bag, right? Not in my opinion anyway. So I did expect there to be a bit of weight in the bag, a bit of structure in the bag. And I think that maybe I was misguided in that sense. Maybe I should have had it a bit lower. I'm not sure, but I can only imagine that denim doesn't cost that much. Again, I'm not a buyer, I'm not a designer, so I don't know, but I can only imagine buying denim is cheaper than buying leather. And so I would have hoped that they would have invested some of the money from the price of the bag in the leather to make sure that it was really, really good quality, really structured. I think that would have saved the bag, because if you guys can see, there's some denim weaving through the handle. And something I like about the bag is I really enjoyed the gold detailing. I think the gold on the bag is actually a really nice kind of gold. Sometimes I can find with gold detailing on bags that it can look a bit, you know, it can look a bit chintzy, it can look a bit cheap. I personally don't think it does look bad on this bag. I just feel like in real life, it would look more expensive if the denim was a bit firmer and had a bit more weight to it. I did get a comment on that video about it looking a bit cheap. And I initially I thought, maybe that might be a bit harsh initially, right? But then the more I look at the bag, the more I'm like, maybe they might have a point. Overall, I think I like the look of the bag. It was just in person, it just wasn't really giving what I think that the leather equivalents do. For the right setting, I enjoyed the size of the bag, but it was a hard no for me, unfortunately. And so it went right back. Okay, it went for 600, I think it's £625. Yeah, it went right back. The hype around this bag, maybe not so much now, but at one point was quite high. I saw people talking about this bag everywhere. So I definitely think that there's interest in this bag. I just feel as though maybe if they considered kind of doing a reissue, or you know, next season doing a renovation of the bag and just using a different type of denim, I think that they would really be onto something. I do really enjoy the leather style. I enjoy the leather in the 20. I have been thinking about picking up the bigger size, but I really do just feel like I need to pick up a classic flap. I don't know. I almost feel like it's a rite of passage. I know that Chanel are doing the absolute most with their prices, but I wouldn't even mind a pre-loved one. I really actually quite like vintage bags. In a lot of ways, I prefer them. I also wanted to give you guys a few luxury denim bag alternatives that I think would be a better alternative to this bag. The first one is the Diesel Hobo bag. I know it's not exactly the same, right? Because it's not like a flat bag, but I really think that this bag is beautiful. It's almost like a work of art. It's so nice. So I thought if you are looking for a shoulder bag, then this bag would be a really nice option. This is a bag that I have been circling for a bit of time now. I actually really, really like it. The only reason why I haven't picked it up, and I didn't pick it up instead of this Coach bag, was the size. It's quite big. So, you know, it's a bag I would consider wearing more casually than dressy, and I felt like the Coach one is a bag that I could dress up more easily. But this bag I really, really like. There's the Brandon Blackwood Nia bag that I really like, that they have in denim. I don't really love the Brandon Blackwoods running across it. I really do wish that he had an option that didn't have that, because I think that this bag would definitely be in my opinion, a better option than the Coach bag. I love this style of Nia bag. It's kind of very similar, kind of flap shoulder bag, but I actually prefer the Brandon Blackwood style. So if you don't mind the Brandon Blackwoods running along it, then I think that this bag could be a good alternative as well. Telfar have a denim range of bags that I actually think are quite cute. I do have a Telfar bag. I've got a really small one. I enjoy it. I wouldn't say it's like I super love them, but if you quite like the Telfar style, I kind of struggle with the fact that they don't have zips or a way to close the bag. But if you don't mind those, then I actually quite like the look of these Telfar bags. And then alternatively for denim, I definitely think it is worth looking vintage. I found a Dior, like a Dior bowling bag that I think is adorable in denim. And there is the Louis Vuitton bag that I'm considering. I think it's called the Neo Speedy. That is also very, 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 very nice. I love both of them. They also have vintage saddlebags that are beautiful. If you are looking for a smaller top handle kind of bag, then I would recommend the denim Caperni as well. It's a perfect opportunity to save a bit of money as well and just pick up a vintage piece. That's what I would recommend.